Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have another primetime game as they host Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Bucs-Chiefs Monday Night Football Week 9 matchup. But before I get into that, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win this game and why. We're trying to get to 100 new subscribers for these Week 9 prediction video series that we have going out, so any help is greatly appreciated. Ryan, Kansas City Chiefs got a solid win against their division opponents, against the Las Vegas Raiders here as well. It's interesting, just kind of a unique week. Felt like, especially some of these division matchups here, there was a lot of tough games against teams that probably should have been heavily favored or most likely to win. But hey, that's what's great about these division games. Like you had the Ravens lose to Cleveland, shockingly. The Falcons-Bucs game was really close, even to the Bucs didn't have their top two receivers. Chiefs game against the Raiders was really close as well, and the Raiders team is not good at all, but shoot, it's a division rivalry. And so good win on the Chiefs' part to squeak one out. Good playing by the Bucs, but unfortunately fell just short. You guys would have beaten us if you guys had Chris Godwin and Mike Evans here. It's really unfortunate, too, to kind of see everything that happened, but I thought y'all played well, but I also think, too, it was a glimpse into really how you guys are going to have to play throughout a majority of the season. Heavy dose of K-Dotton, heavy dose of screen passes and running the ball with Bucky Irving, Rachaad White, just trying to get the ball down the field, at least up until Mike Evans comes back. But that being said, Ryan, do you agree with that? And then also, too, how do you think the Chiefs have been doing so far? Well, they're undefeated, so obviously they've been doing pretty well, but do you think there's some areas the Chiefs can keep trying to improve on?
Yeah, I mean, starting off with the Buccaneers, it is a shame kind of what's happened. This wide receiving room has just been absolutely decimated with injuries. They're not even going to have Mike Evans back.
Had a hamstring injury today as well, so just another guy.
And so like that leaves Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan. Like Jalen McMillan has missed time already this year with injuries as well. So I will say this offensive line is doing pretty well for the Buccaneers. Rachaad White it looks like a good back. K-Dotton had a decent game against your Falcons. So like this is a
really good game.
Yeah,
really good game.
And so like they still have options, but it's not going to be near the explosive capabilities that they had with when they were fully healthy. This defense is performing okay. They've kind of started to dip here, I think, later in the year as the year has progressed. But it's still a good team. This isn't a team I think that you can go in and just like completely overlook if you're Kansas City. But with that being said, like kind of looking at what Kansas City has done this year, and I've been pretty critical of their offensive side of the ball. Patrick Mahomes is still throwing more interceptions than touchdowns. They still make a lot of mistakes. They've struggled in the red area, like atypical things that you have seen from the Chiefs throughout this Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era. But this defense is just phenomenal. Like this is one of the best defenses in the league, and they're going to keep beating teams, and this offense is able to do just enough to keep beating these teams. And not to like spoil my prediction, I think that's probably what's going to happen here. I think that this defense is going to be really dominant over this very injured Tampa Bay Bucs offense. This Bucs offense isn't really going to be able to do much, and I think Kansas City is just going to kind of do whatever they want at that point. So.
Yeah, it's sticking that Chiefs defense here. They're third overall right now in rushing yards allowed, and that's just going to be the thing. If I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, who they had started to pick it up a little bit overall. I said that they're actually 10th overall in rushing yards allowed. They started off pretty slow to start the season, but they had a big game against New Orleans, 277. So actually, I think that might be kind of it. I think it's kind of an outlier. They have improved overall, but really a lot of it's based off the nearly 300-yard rushing game against the Saints. But in general, though, I think with the major injuries that they've experienced in the receiving room, it's just going to be more guys in the box. So now you're going to be going up against Chris Jones and the Steve Spagnuolo defense here. And it's just going to be – they're going to force you to have to try and throw the ball with one of their young receivers here like Jalen McMillan or these guys. And then on the flip side, too, with the Chiefs offense, they went and got traded DeAndre Hopkins, who got a couple catches today, 2 catches for 29 yards. Wouldn't be surprised if his usage continues to keep going up as he gets kind of more in sync with Patrick Mahomes and whatnot. I think that'd be a fun addition for that team. And I think they just need to just keep playing consistently. You're right; he's throwing more touchdowns than interceptions, but say it again. Two
more interceptions than touchdowns.
more interceptions. You're supposed to throw more touchdowns than
Yeah.
He's done more interceptions than touchdowns. Yes, I think that's slowly going to get figured out as well. And by the end of the season, he's going to have more touchdowns than picks. But still, to me, though, just what makes him the best is just one, the offensive system that he's in and how well he works with Andy Reid, but just the mental side of the game, though, and how he's able to pick out the weaknesses of these defenses when he sees whatever he's given them. Something similar to, and you would know this with Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady just had that knack of like whatever defense they're in, like what leverage do, or how can I put my receivers in the best position to be successful here? So
Tom Brady was more pre-snap. And Mahomes does a better job of this now. Tom Brady was more pre-snap, like getting his team in the right play and identifying like blitzes and getting his coverage, his protection, everything correct. Mahomes is so difficult because he can still do that, but even when things break down, he still has his athleticism and ability to get out of the pocket. So,
yeah. I think another thing too on top of this as well that on how good this offense is. And it's not by any means the best offense at all, but I think their running game, even too with Isaiah Pacheco being out, like now they've had Kareem Hunt in as well. They've had Carson Steele do a little bit of work, but obviously his production's dropped off a lot. But I still feel like they're a solid, just consistent running team, and they have a solid offensive line in front of them. They can maybe do a little bit better at the tackles, but like Creed Humphrey at center and their interior offensive
well, then
line.
They have I believe Joe Tooney and then Trey Smith, who's a big free agent coming up. Like, those are three Pro Bowl caliber, interior offensive linemen.
There's maybe some areas where they can improve a little bit on the tackles. Yes, like Wanya Morris and Kingsley Suamatia, young tackles that I think that they can keep on developing. But the fact that they've got the heart right there, the guards in the center, is probably maybe some of the best in the league. It I think helps out a bunch with their overall protection. There's not too much pressure up the middle that Mahomes or the running game has to worry about. So, and speaking of just passing touchdowns, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to surpass that interception mark in this upcoming week, just because even as a Falcons fan, like it's this secondary for Tampa Bay is just weak. They're injured, and I think they're going to give up a lot of passing yards again. It being at home on Monday night as well for Kansas City, getting into the predictions here. I just think it's going to be tough for Baker Mayfield and company to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. Something similar, I think, to what we saw with like Lamar and with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens last Monday night with Tampa Bay. I just think it's going to be tough for them to keep up, especially now with those injuries. It's not going to be as big of a shootout like that Ravens win was, 41-31, but I think it's going to be something similar, probably like a 27-10 type game, because the Chiefs defense is probably better than the Ravens defense. So they're going to be able to lock down on Baker Mayfield, and Jalen McMillan now is probably like their number one receiver. So I'm going to go with like a 27-13 victory for Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going to go 31-17 for Kansas City. I think they're just the better team here. This Bucs team is so banged up that it's sad. Like, this Bucs team through the first few weeks, you could really see like, oh, like they actually might be a real playoff team, and now it's like they are going to struggle to make a wild card playoff, and it's solely because of injuries.
Well, as a Falcons fan too, I also like how lucky we've been. Knock on wood, but yeah, like Bucs are dealing with some major injuries right now. The Saints obviously might be the most. I was thinking about that too. It'd be like there were like two types of falls from grace. Like, you had the Eagles last year who just fell from grace like for no reason really. Like, they just couldn't win a football game in the second half of the season. And you've had the Saints now, and I say fall from grace. I mean, like, they were at the highs of highs very quickly, but then they just got decimated with injuries over these next over like the last 4 or 5 weeks, and you could just see the product on the field is not the same. And so the Falcons, I think, have gotten lucky so far. Like, it's definitely, it was our division to lose last year, and we lost it. And now this is, at this point in the season now, definitely our division to lose, just with all the major injuries going on right now.
Yeah. So It's going to be a tough road for the Bucs the remaining of the way. But let's go ahead. We'll wrap this one up here. We are both taking the Chiefs. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Will it be the Kansas City Chiefs? On that, we'll see you guys next time.